It all began with a dream. A dream to explore one of the most remote and untouched places on Earth, Antarctica. I had always been fascinated by the idea of this frozen continent, a place where nature reigns supreme, and humans are mere visitors. When I received the invitation to join a scientific expedition to study the effects of climate change on Antarctic wildlife, I didn't hesitate. This was my chance to be part of something bigger, to contribute to the understanding of our planet's fragile ecosystems. Little did I know, this journey would lead me to an experience that would forever change my life. The day I rescued a penguin. The journey to Antarctica was an adventure in itself. After weeks of preparation, packing gear designed to withstand temperatures as low as 60 degrees Celsius, and saying goodbye to the comforts of home, I found myself on a ship crossing the Drake Passage. Known as one of the most treacherous stretches of water in the world, the Drake Passage lived up to its reputation. Waves as tall as buildings crashed against the ship, and the constant rocking made it nearly impossible to sleep. But amidst the chaos, there was a sense of excitement. Every mile brought us closer to the frozen continent, a place few people ever get to see. When we finally arrived, the sight took my breath away. Antarctica was unlike anything I had ever imagined. Endless expanses of ice stretched as far as the eye could see, interrupted only by towering glaciers and the occasional glimpse of wildlife. The air was crisp and cold, and the silence was profound. It was as if we had stepped into another world, a world where time stood still. Our team set up camp near a penguin colony, a bustling community of thousands of Adelie penguins. These small, charismatic birds were the focus of our research. We spent our days observing their behavior, documenting their interactions, and collecting data on how climate change was affecting their habitat. It was hard work, but it was also incredibly rewarding. Every day brought new discoveries and unforgettable moments. But amidst the beauty and wonder of Antarctica, there was also a sense of urgency. The effects of climate change were impossible to ignore. Glaciers were melting at an alarming rate, and the delicate balance of the ecosystem was being disrupted. It was a stark reminder of why we were there, to document these changes and raise awareness about the need to protect this fragile environment. One afternoon, as I was returning to camp after a long day of fieldwork, I noticed something unusual. A lone penguin was sitting on the ice, far from the rest of the colony. At first, I thought it was just resting, but as I got closer, I realized something was wrong. The penguin wasn't moving, and its feathers looked matted and dirty. I knelt down to get a better look, and that's when I saw the fear in its eyes. This penguin was in trouble. My heart sank. I knew I had to do something, but I also knew that helping a wild animal in such a harsh environment wasn't going to be easy. Penguins are incredibly resilient creatures, but they're also vulnerable, especially when they're alone. I called over one of my teammates, and together we assessed the situation. The penguin was weak and dehydrated, and it seemed to have trouble standing. We needed to act fast. We carefully wrapped the penguin in a blanket and carried it back to our research station. It was a delicate operation. We didn't want to cause the penguin any additional stress, but we also knew that time was of the essence. Back at the station, we set up a makeshift recovery area and began to examine the penguin more closely. It was a male Adelie penguin, probably around 2 years old. There were no visible injuries, but it was clear that he hadn't eaten in a while. We gave him fluids to rehydrate him and offered him some fish, which he eagerly accepted. It was a good sign. Over the next few hours, we monitored his progress, making sure he was warm and comfortable. Slowly but surely, he began to regain his strength. It was incredible to see the transformation. The fear in his eyes was replaced by curiosity, and he started to perk up, looking around at his new surroundings. As the hours turned into days, the penguin, whom we named Lucky, became a part of our team. We took turns caring for him, feeding him, and keeping him company. It was amazing to see how quickly he bonded with us. Penguins are social animals, and even though we weren't part of his colony, he seemed to understand that we were there to help. But as much as we grew attached to Lucky, we knew that his place was in the wild. Antarctica is a harsh and unforgiving environment, but it's also home to some of the most resilient creatures on the planet. Lucky was no exception. After a few days of care, he was strong enough to return to his colony. It was a bittersweet moment. We were thrilled to see him healthy and ready to rejoin his fellow penguins, but we were also sad to say goodbye. We carried Lucky back to the spot where we had found him and gently set him down on the ice. For a moment, he just stood there, looking at us as if to say thank you. Then, with a quick waddle, he made his way towards the colony. We watched as he disappeared into the crowd of penguins, his black and white feathers blending in with the rest. It was a moment I'll never forget. Rescuing Lucky was one of the most rewarding experiences of my life, but it was also a reminder of the challenges facing Antarctica and its wildlife. Climate change is real, and its effects are being felt in every corner of the globe, even in this remote and pristine environment. The melting ice, rising temperatures, and changing ocean currents are threatening the delicate balance of the ecosystem, and the animals that call Antarctica home are paying the price. But there's also hope. By studying these changes and sharing our findings with the world, we can raise awareness and inspire action. Every small step we take, whether it's reducing our carbon footprint, supporting conservation efforts, or simply spreading the word, can make a difference. And sometimes, that difference can be as simple as saving one penguin. As I reflect on my time in Antarctica, I'm filled with a sense of gratitude. Gratitude for the opportunity to experience this incredible place, gratitude for the amazing team I worked with, and gratitude for the chance to make a difference, even in a small way. Rescuing Lucky was a reminder of why I do what I do, to protect and preserve the natural world, one story at a time. So, what's next? For me, it's about continuing to share these stories and inspire others to take action. Whether it's through my work as a researcher, my adventures as an explorer, or my videos here on YouTube, I want to show people the beauty and fragility of our planet and encourage them to be part of the solution. Because at the end of the day, we're all connected. What happens in Antarctica affects us all, and it's up to us to protect it. If you've made it this far, thank you for joining me on this journey. I hope Lucky's story has inspired you as much as it has inspired me. If you want to see more adventures like this, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. And if you have any questions or thoughts, leave them in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. Until next time, stay curious, stay adventurous, and remember, we all have the power to make a difference.